Hi, this is Anna Imagination, and I am totally like, I'm steamed up. So where do I even begin? We're going to talk about economics, but we're going to do it my way. So this is like an introduction to welcome to an introduction to economics. But I'm going to show you my brain. And this is really, we're going to talk about meso solutions. I'm really like everything that I do is a meso solution. I live in the meso world, and I want to define that for you. So whenever you get into anything, there's the micro and the macro. And it's always micro, macro. Macro is NASA, it's space. Micro is quantum physics and chemistry. And no one looks at meso science. No one. Geology, geography, they're going into archaeology. They are going into the meso world. They are dissecting. Sociology, we look at macro. And that's really it. Is there's constant toggling between let's look at the small, let's look at the big, but no one looks at the meso. And 100% of my work, all of it, is meso. It's a word I've been looking for a very, very long time. It means the middle ground or the in-between. So when you're looking at atoms and the microscopic world, you're really honing in on that small microscopic, all the components that make up something greater. And there is this belief that what is existing on the micro level stays at the micro level. Oh, no, it doesn't. When you zoom out, you realize that everything that exists, are we all listening, at the micro level also exists at the meso level, and it also exists on the macro level. But people who study the micro levels aren't seeing how, oh, look, an atom. Yes, look at the entire formula, the pattern of what an atom does, what molecules do. And if you span out, it's the exact same formula at the mesoplane. And that's where we live, is the mesoplane. This is the bridge that literally gapped all of the healing garden and triadic healing, was the realization that a human being is an atom, that we follow the exact same mathematical patterns as an atom, that our entire lives, our human relationships are literally a meso formula, a meso replica of a molecule, a meso replica of an atom, a meso replica of an electromagnetic field. And we already have the formulas for electromagnetic fields, for economics, for how connectors works and batteries, magnetism and mirrors, but that's all micro level. So when you span out into the meso level and you do pattern recognition and you realize that all the laws and rules that apply at the macro level or micro level also are existing at the meso level, when you span out again, you realize that the macro level, the universe, the galaxy, the solar system follow the same patterns. It's extraordinary. So when I put together mental health, healing, triadic healing, all of it, it was just a realization of how everything in the micro world is just replicated in the meso world, but no one is looking at the meso level. Meso means in between micro and macro. So then I stepped into the world of economics, and I just found Rich Dad, Poor Dad last night. I was my own business, my own company, I was going with this one direction with it. And I hit this point where I'm like, something's different. It feels like if I were to put my hand on it, it felt like my ship was breathing and it had its own soul and spirit and it's now living. But we either ran aground or the fog was so thick I couldn't see ahead. And then I had a moment of, are we in a smoke and mirror show where my ship is actually at dock and I didn't even realize that it's still in the docks and I thought it was sailing on ahead when it's actually in the docks and we haven't even launched yet? So I have this thing about me that they talked about in Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I had no idea that this is it, where I take a knee. Take a knee is dojo talk for keep a cool head, shut down, take a step back and look at the macro point of view. So every time something goes awry, I'm huge on pause, take a knee. And I did. I paused, I took a knee, and I thought, and I cleared my head. And I went, I'm going to stay here until I can figure out what's going on. So I started to evaluate the big picture. I evaluated the micro picture, and then I evaluated the meso picture. This is really vital to economics, to financial success. This is true of life in general, is being able to shift between the macro, the micro, and the meso levels to evaluate the situation at each one of these levels. Most of us can only evaluate the micro levels. Now, the problem with the micro level is you get blinders on and it's first person point of view perspective. You only see, it's literally like being so close up to the bottom of a coffee mug that you think you're looking at a saucer or a UFO when you're looking at the bottom of a coffee mug because you're in the macro mindset. When you zoom out into the macro level, you go, oh, it's a coffee mug. But most of us look at life's problems and situations at the micro level. And as a result, we can't understand it. Now, the meso level is the ability, it's very much that second person or third person point of view where you can stand out and look at everything. But this is vital. Life's true skills is the ability to function and move between the micro, the macro, and the meso levels, and then integrate those 3 points of views so you can understand the integrated greater whole. Omniscient point of view is the macro level, and that's not what you want. You don't want the omniscient point of view. The micro level is the first person point of view. However, the meso is the third person point of view. And most of us are stuck in either the omniscient point of view or the first person point of view. The majority of us are in the first person point of view. But there's another point of view that's not talked about. There's another point of view that completely goes over most people's heads. You hear about, oh, well, it's the first person point of view. It's the third person point of view. It's the omniscient. The other point of view is what I call the philosopher's point of view. The philosopher's point of view is the integrated accumulation of the whole. It's when you take the omniscient point of view, the first person point of view, and the third person point of view, and you integrate them all together. No one does this. A few people have figured out how to do this. You know who does this? Rich people and entrepreneurs. They're the ones who do this. But they don't know they're doing this. They have to figure it out. But when they figure it out, they're only tradesmen. They are tradesmen entrepreneurs. So they can't really sit down and pinpoint what it is they're doing. They just, I think this is what we're supposed to be doing. It feels right, feels good, it's getting me results. But if you were to ask them what they're doing, they say, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't figure it out. You're going to have to figure it out for yourself. Because they can't teach it, because they don't know what they're doing. This is what they're doing. This takes the master and philosopher of this skill to be able to articulate, by the way, guys, this is what we're doing. Second person point of view is just first and third person point of view combined. That's what it is. Second person point of view is the integration of first and third person point of view, but it lacks omniscient point of view. People are, oh, you want an omniscient point of view. You want to span out and look at the big picture. The philosopher says, no, you don't. You want to integrate all of the points of views. When you own a business and you have something like a massive corporation, the CEO sits at the top and they have business meetings. Successful entrepreneurs know this. Successful CEOs know this, but they don't know it because they're not master entrepreneurs, they're tradesmen entrepreneurs. So they get to that top and they're like, all right, I got my omniscient point of view. How are things over there in the first person point of view? How are things at the micro level? Managers come in and they're like, well, this is what's going down in production. They're giving them the micro point of view. All right, thank you. Great job, Bob. All right, what's going on at that third person point of view? How's my human resources department? So what they're doing is they're collecting the components of first person point of view. Now, the business owner is accumulating all of that first person point of view to look at the big picture at omniscient point of view. And then you integrate all of those things together, not to get the big picture, but to get the whole picture. Big picture does not mean whole, and that's the difference. You want the whole person point of view. You want to be able to see all of the people's points of views integrated at the same time. You want the big picture, the micro picture, the macro picture, the meso picture, and you want them integrated all at the same time. Now, the closest we get to this is second person point of view, where you've integrated first and third, but it excludes the omniscient. The philosopher knows to include the omniscient, to put it all together to say, now that's the whole picture, not the big picture, the whole picture. The ability to maneuver between micro and macro comprehension, meso comprehension, is a skill that I refer to as shifting perspectives. Most people don't know this. Most people have no idea. Most people go, I want to be a chemist. Well, congratulations, you've just walked into the world of the micro. Some people say, I want to go to NASA and I want to be this. And well, great, you are now in the macro world. But the ability to take macro and micro and merge them, the artist, the geologist, they're living in the meso level, but they're not seeing micro or macro levels. They're not integrating it. The philosopher integrates micro, meso, and macro so that they get the whole picture complete with the big picture. When you learn and master this skill, apply mathematical problem solving and you're a genius. And that's it. That's it. That is literally the genius formula is the philosopher's point of view with mathematical problem solving and emotional regulation. That is the genius formula. And yeah, it's that simple. Simple, but difficult to master, but simple. And it's like anything else. You've got all the different levels. You have your apprentice, you have your tradesman, you have your master, and then you have your philosopher. The apprentice is only living in that first person point of view. The apprentice, are you listening, Lizzie? The apprentice lives at the micro level. The tradesman lives at the meso level. The master lives at the omniscient level. The philosopher has known to integrate all of them. And when you do that, it gives you the ability to see the situation from all faceted points of view. And then you apply the mathematics and you can execute. You can go, oh, I understand pattern recognition. It's the ability to sit back and go, okay, I understand how A, B, C fluctuates. And now when you add emotional regulation and discipline in that, it's the ability to keep yourself calm and take a knee when you need to step back and look at a situation. You will never be abused again if you can pull this off. And it's a skill. It's a skill that we don't teach people. So I step into the wonderful world of economics, and I'm literally at lesson 1, introduction to. Now, I have studied economics. I was a purchasing manager of the largest plastics corporation in the world. And I've done logistics. I have done, oh, good God, did I do logistics? I have done logistics. I have done supply and demand. I have done economics. I've taken courses on accounting. I have done QuickBooks. I actually have a partial certification done in QuickBooks. So, and now, and Warren Buffett, I love Warren Buffett. I take all of my lessons. My mentors are Warren Buffett and Steve Jobs. Those are my 2 solid mentors. Finding people who are actually teaching the right mindset has been a challenge. And it's been one that I have been looking for a very long time. When I found Rich Dad, Poor Dad last night, it was a massive like, oh, finally the right mindset to study from. Your brain is an asset. Your brain is an asset. And this is what a lot of people just don't get. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my handy dandy whiteboard here. And we're going to break this down. This is the formula that I have here. It's want, and you know, if you know me, you know this. And then we have learn, and then solve, and then do. Now, most people, and that equals, in my opinion, that equals happiness. That very much is the core to happiness. Now, most people don't do this formula. What most people do this. This is poor man formula. Limiting belief plus choose plus do equals failure. And unhappiness. That is what the majority of people do. Now, rich people do this. This is my formula here. I'm mentioning rich, poor because I'm reading Rich Man, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So rich people do this one. And poor people do this one. Bottom line, that's it right there. And the biggest thing, and it was so validating to read this, that when I started reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad last night, it literally is 100% what I'm already doing. It was just articulating a lot of what I'm already doing. And I went, oh, it's just the entrepreneur mindset. And I've had it my whole life. I never, and this is a big deal. Learn from me. This is such a big deal. Most people have the poor man mindset embedded into them. Now, I don't know why, but for some reason, I have zero resistance to it. It's not in my head. It has never been in my head. The poor man mindset versus the entrepreneur mindset. I was 12 and had the entrepreneur mindset. If you are an artist, you think more like an entrepreneur, then that's it. The artist is very much the entrepreneur mindset. And my father was not just poor man mindset. My father was a diehard and the advocate. He was the poster boy for poor man mindset. He was the person who was literally turning to violence to ensure that poor man mindset was promoted, followed to the T, and by God, you had better. Now, I was the entrepreneur. So my father and I butted heads real strong. It was really very validating when I was reading this in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, where he has the two mindsets and he's comparing them. And I went, oh my God, it's my father and I. Except my father believed in violence and had no problems going toward the route of violence. And it doesn't matter. Poor man mindset must reign above all else. So my father truly was the poster board for this advocacy of poor man mindset must reign all. And I was entrepreneur at 12 years old. I was building businesses. I was like, oh, I had a completely different mindset. And this is really the core of my mindset is my freedom is not for sale. Bottom line, this is like my freedom is not for sale. And as a result, poor man mindset is incompatible with this mindset. My freedom is not for sale. It's on my arm. My freedom is not for sale. It's no, freedom. I will sooner be a poor man on a street starving before I sell my freedom. That whole give me liberty or give me death. Oh, that's totally me. I swear I'm the one who came up with that in a past life. And this is just me reincarnate. Like, no freedom. Like, yeah, a brave heart is my soul. So and I absolutely blame my Celtic roots. No, freedom. Like I have a serious addiction to my freedom. So what I was explaining to my daughter this morning when we were going over economics, and this is one of my favorite things, is the concept of school today is actually slave school. Schools are slave schools. They are literally, it's a conditioning process. Your disk space is almost full. It's a conditioning brain training for slavery and obedience and poor man mindset. And that's what it is. That is 100% what school is. And the way I explain it to my daughter is some people are 20% compatible with slavery. And some people are 80% compatible with slavery. Let me just Some people are 80% compatible with slavery. Some people are 60% compatible with slavery. Some people are 100% compatible with slavery. My father is an example of this. He is 100% compatible with slavery. I am 0% compatible with slavery. That's where I am. I am absolutely incompatible with it. I can't do it because my freedom is not for sale. Now, when you look at the educational system, the slave school education, traditional educational system, with the slave school mindset of conditioning the brain training for slavery and obedience, it's not going to work for me. It's not at all going to work for me. So when you have 0% compatibility with slavery, and you are in the system, you're in the school mindset, you're in the 9-to-5 job, what you are really dealing with is your freedom is you are so like gung-ho freedom that it's not going to work for you. And this is where a lot of people, and this is the ratio. Are we all ready for this formula? Your slave compatibility is in ratio to your happiness level. Bottom line. If you have a high slave compatibility, you're probably very happy in a slave system. If you have a low slave compatibility, your happiness level is going to be based off of your freedom. And this is really it. If you are 0% compatible with slavery, that I cannot explain to you enough, then you are going to, your happiness is freedom. This is really, truly it. Then 100% of your happiness is freedom. And if you are 20% compatible with slavery, then 80% of happiness is freedom. This is going to get real powerful real fast. Are we all paying attention? Because this is really it. If you are 60% compatible with slavery, then you are 40% of happiness is freedom. And this is the difference. This is extraordinary. This is something that I noticed a long time ago. And when I figured it out, I was like, wow. It was really insightful to see where my father is, because my father is 100% compatible with slavery. And as a result, there it is. If you are 0% compatible with slavery, it means that you are 100% of happiness is freedom. Now, there's one more thing to all of this, which means 0% of happiness is going to be slavery. And that's it right there. And let's follow this logic through. This is literally there you go. This is it. That's it right there. I am 0% compatible with slavery. I am 100% of happiness is freedom, and 0% of happiness is slavery. That is my ratio. Where is yours? Find yours. My father is 100% compatible with slavery. He is 0% of his happiness is freedom, and 100% of his happiness is slavery. The more people are telling him what to do, the happier he is. Now, you are unhappy if this ratio is off, which is why some people are very happy with the system and other people are not. And then you've got people who are, look, I am 0% compatible with slavery, but if you are in a job, you are not going to be happy. And happiness is slavery, your freedom to slavery, your freedom to slavery ratio. That's 100% what it is. It's extraordinary. This is all economics, and we're going to break this down, and I'm going to show you how this is economics over this course. But this is it right here. And when you understand where you are on this, it changes everything, because slavery is your relationship with self-authority and self-autonomy. And that's it. Your relationship with self-authority, self-autonomy, and your power of choice. Now, some people, that's all it is. Some people are real gung-ho on self-authority, self-autonomy, power of choice, which means you are going to be 0% compatible with slavery. But if you are someone who enjoys not having self-authority, someone who enjoys not having self-autonomy, and you have your power and you don't have power of choice, you're going to be very, very happy being a slave. You're going to be very, very happy having no freedom. And that's what the system is for. The system is 100% for 100% compatible with slavery. That is what the system is for. And that's really it. If you are not this person, then there's just no path for you. There's no road. That's where entrepreneurs say, yeah, you got to figure it out, because the system's not made for you. Actually, the system is made for you. You got to figure it out. You come here, I am saying the same thing. We're going to break it down for you. You got to figure it out. If the system is compatible for both types of people, but they don't make it apparent or obvious, because the answers lie in financial education, financial literacy. There are 4 topics that are not taught in our culture. 4 subjects that are absolutely, let me see, I've tried this before and it doesn't work, so I'm just going to have to type it out. Financial literacy, self-regulation and emotional management. Also, mental management. Let me go back on over to my little thing here, because I got to go look up my notes. Ah, yes. Communication connection. There it is. That's what I want. Let me see if it'll, yeah, communication connection. Oh, it did. Yay! There you go. It did copy paste for me. That makes me very, very happy. That was so much easier. So there you go. There are 4 subjects, and these are the 4 subjects. The 4 subjects is financial education or economics, self-regulation, self-management, and mental management. I want to clarify, this is economics for rich people. And this is actually what got me angry. And I went, no, I got to do a whole thing because I'm on a thing now. Is every time you step into economic studies, it's economics for poor people. Economics for poor people is not the same thing as economics for rich people. Economics for poor people is economics taught with the poor man mindset. Economics for rich people is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's Warren Buffett. It's Steve Jobs. You want economics for rich people, you're going to have to dig. I'm going to give you the answers. It is 100% the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And it is Warren Buffett. Now, Warren Buffett's really good with telling you what to do with the money after you get the money, but he doesn't really get into how to go from nothing to something. He's always, every time I've looked into his work, what I see over and over again from him is, now that you've got your money, this is what you do with it. I love you, Warren, but that is so not what I need. Rich Dad, Poor Dad actually is the predecessor to Warren Buffett. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is phenomenal with this, where it's like, all right, so you want to go from, you want to actually be rich. This is it. And then from there, it is Steve Jobs. These are the people who have their shit figured out, but they are economics for rich people. So whenever, and this was something that I immediately noticed when I started to study economics. So this is the mindset. Your brain is your largest and greatest asset. Bottom line, your brain is your largest and your greatest asset. Now, the quality of your brain is going to be determined upon your education. I'm going to clarify here. Good and proper education. Or quality, quality education, which leads to a higher brain asset. Now, this is the difference between rich people, poor people. Rich people know this. Poor people don't. Poor people do not have any kind of concept that their brain is their asset. Your brain is your asset. Now, going back over to our gorgeous little diagram over here, when it comes to the want, choose, learn, solve, do, this is it right here. Is the want, serve, want, this is the problem. This is what a lot of people don't know how to do. Because, and if you look at it, the poor person actually eliminates it. There's just choose and do. And then they fail and they're unhappy. And the reason why is because they are not learning and solving. Rich people know to learn and solve. Now, there is one big difference. The big difference is take a knee. And it's literally a civil war inside of your head. Now, this is what I delve into with my Try to Healing Part 1. When I went into my AIDNS and my Try to Healing Part 1 in mental health illness, this is what I talk about constantly, is there is a civil war inside of you, a civil war or a civil divide. There is a schism, a self-schism. And it is literally your emotional discipline versus your logical calm. That's it. That's it. That's all there is. I want you to really wrap your head around this. This is such a vital part of this. It's getting its own page. Your emotional discipline versus your logical calm. You fail at this and you will be poor for the rest of your life. I'm going to give you this formula once more because this is literally the genius formula. The genius formula. This is what it is. It is the philosopher's point of view plus emotional discipline and logical calm plus math. Math. It's math. It's math. Equals genius. That's it. That is the genius formula. You master these three things and you are fucking awesome. You literally do not need to study anything else for the rest of your life. You do not have to study anything else. I'm going to say that again. You don't have to study anything else. The man who taught the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Rich Dad, had a high school, less than a degree of 8th grade school. I'm going to say again, you master this formula and you don't need anything else. This is genius. Philosopher's point of view with emotional discipline and logical calm plus math. Genius. That's it. And what it is it is an accumulation of these four subjects. These four subjects. It is your financial education, economics for rich people. It is your ability to self-regulate, self-manage, and have mental management, which is what Try to Healing covers. And then you have communication and connection, which is literally the meso level of physics applied to your human brain. And then comprehension and problem solving for practical application, which is math. And it's the ability, self-regulation, self-management, and mental management to use the philosopher's formula or the philosopher's point of view with mathematics to literally problem solve any situation. Because your brain is your largest and your greatest asset. So instead of cramming a whole lot of information into your head for 30 or 20 years, you just master the genius formula. You master the genius formula and you're done. You're done. Now you are strategically choosing, and this is it. Remember when I said that your brain is your greatest asset? It's because let's talk about your brain as an asset. This is it. This is it right here. Your brain as an asset. The goal is to get quality information into your brain, not quantity. Our school system, the slave schools, give you quantity. Ready for this? They binge you on poor quality information. That's it. They binge you on poor quality information. They make you glutton. They binge, they glutton, and binge you on, I don't want a new page. I want to close it. They glutton and binge you on poor quality information. That is what they do. But rich people, I'm going to go over to this, the philosopher's the genius formula. The genius formula cherry picks high quality information because you're putting it into your brain. Your brain is the asset. You want to be really careful with what you put into your brain. So when I was going through my educational system, I banned the poor man mindset. Poor man mindset was not allowed in my brain. It just wasn't. So that was information that I rejected. I filtered it. I literally cherry-picked quality information to increase the quality of my greatest asset, which was my brain. And this is the difference. When I was 16, I was diagnosed with chronic depression, and they prescribed Prozac for me. Prozac, 16-year-old brain, Prozac, 1996 Prozac, not today Prozac, 1996 Prozac. I don't know if you know this, but 1996 Prozac is not the same as today's Prozac. Prozac is a poison. And I went, you mean you're going to destroy my imagination, creativity? Fuck that shit. I will find another way to manage my depression. And I never took it. I never took it because I valued my imagination. I valued my creativity. I knew exactly the quality of my imagination. I did not do drugs. I did not smoke. I did not go into alcohol because I valued my assets. I valued my assets. And my assets were my brain, my singing or my voice. I was a musician. It was it never made sense to me. If you smoke, if you sing, why the fuck are you smoking? It's just the most illogical. I don't understand it. Your asset is your voice. A singer who smokes is like an oxymoron. It makes no sense. It's literally like pumping poison right into your greatest asset. It makes no sense. So the brain, singing voice, these were my greatest of assets. And my creativity, my imagination, these were things that I had to fight for because our entire culture is hell-bent on destroying our greatest assets. Bottom line. And the slave school literally takes away your creativity, takes away your imagination. It compromises your brain. It pollutes it with poor man mindset. And I'm going, oh, no. My brain is my highest asset. I want top quality education. I want top quality everything. So that's when I created the genius formula in order to preserve, maintain, and hone my education so that I could make the most out of my brain, because my brain is an asset. I didn't want quantity, I wanted quality. Now, ironically, when I focused on quality of information, I still got more quantity than the average person. So I walked away with like 7 masteries. It was extraordinary because the quality of information allowed me the mastery of 7 topics. Whereas slave school, the quality is so poor that you have to assault and cram all the information into your head, and it doesn't even stick. It's garbage. So you're not actually attending school at all. What you're attending is slave obedience training. It's literally obedience. It's obedience school. I want you to think about this. Ready for this really disturbing concept? I want you to think about a dog's obedience school. And I want you to compare the dog obedience school with modern educational schools. They're almost identical. They are almost identical. And it's because it's all about that slave training mindset. So I valued my brain. I had such a high value for my assets. By the time I was 12, I had a laundry list, literally a checklist of what are my assets. And boy, I can understand now, like I entrepreneur mindset. My father was just like, no, you got to get a job. No, these are my assets. My assets. Yeah, that's the way I was when I was 12, 13, 14, was I had already listed off my assets, my brain, my singing voice, my creativity, my imagination. And I was honing and creating and shaping and increasing the value of my assets. And it was no different than the apprentice. These are, again, your skill levels: apprentice, tradesman, master, and then philosopher. So I was going through all of this already and putting together the different skill sets. So by the time I was 15, I was a tradesman in the value of my asset, increasing the value, constantly increasing the value. And every time I cherry-picked knowledge or information, I was doing it on purpose to increase the value of my asset. So this is how my education was different than everybody else's, is I was seeking to increase the value of my greatest asset, my brain. And in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he spends a good, it's amazing. It's so fucking amazing. He talks, it's literally my take a knee, and then it's the brain is your asset. And I'm going, yeah, that's exactly where I am. It's the ability to, and it's that civil war, that divided gut and gut. His book is going on my recommended reading. I have like 5 books that I recommend, and that is now it. I'm like, read this book. It's absolutely spot on. And it's sitting down now and studying economics. And this is where I am now, is he did this whole absolutely study financial education. So I want to go back over here. The financial education, the self-regulation, the self-management, and mental management. These are the 4 subjects that are never, ever taught in actual life. I refer to this as the science of comprehension. And this is literally the subject that goes between. This is the subject that goes between. Okay, I don't know. Okay, this is the subject that goes between art and science. So you have the arts over here, and then you have the sciences. And the science of comprehension is the subject that goes between art and science, so you can bring them together. Art and the science of comprehension are the foundation of the sciences. You cannot study the sciences without arts and the science of comprehension. And if you take away the science of comprehension and art, you're not going to understand. You're going to struggle. This is where slave educators, I'm going to call them that, slave educators. That's what they are. This is where slave educators label people with weaknesses and strengths. No, it's not weaknesses and strengths. It's you were incompetent with teaching the arts and the science of comprehension, so they have a steady and solid foundation with science. So this is something I was explaining to my daughter. 100% of all education is prerequisitional. I want you to really let that sink in. 100% of all education is prerequisitional. What this means is that every single subject that you study has a prerequisite prior to you studying it. For instance, reading and writing has the prerequisite of art. Reading and writing has the prerequisite of theater and stage. Actually, theater and stage comes first. Like theater and stage, yeah, it's really, theater and stage is the prerequisite for reading and writing. And the prerequisite to theater and stage is sculpting, painting, and drawing. And the prerequisite for sculpting, painting, and drawing is music, dance, and singing. Plato knew this, which is why Plato taught this in this precise order, is because it is a prerequisite. After reading and writing, you get into, why? Okay, you get into logic and linguistics. Specifically, linguistics first. Linguistics is the prerequisite to logic, which is the prerequisite to math, which is the prerequisite for physics, which is the prerequisite for ontology, which is the prerequisite for chemistry, which is the do you see what I'm doing here? Which is the prerequisite for more ontology, specifically time and dimension theory, which is the prerequisite for astronomy. Oh yeah, that's where I would put that, astronomy, which is the prerequisite for biology. Yeah, that's right. Biology is there. There you go. Which is the prerequisite for education, which is the prerequisite for economy, and actually economy comes later, which is the prerequisite for human circuitry and education. Wait, education and parenting. Yeah, parenting is here, people. Parenting is this high up. That's right. So do you get this? Do you get this? Do you see this? Do you know what this is? This is why human beings mostly suck, is because we are lacking all of the prerequisites. These subjects are 100% prerequisitional. Because they are prerequisitional and no one knows it, and we're not studying it, it's not sinking in. So this is why math is hard. This is why people struggle with physics. This is why it's because you're lacking the prerequisites. We pick up here, and then we pick up here, and then everything else, and then we put a bunch of history in here. By the way, history is not part of this. Do you notice this? Yeah, that's done on purpose. History is not part of this. History is not part of this. History is part of theater and stage and sculpting. Here, history is all through it. This is history. History is all of it. And this is it right here, is we are only taught reading and writing. We are only taught math, and then we're taught chemistry and biology. And then you've got educators who are claiming that they know shit, but they don't understand that 100% of all education is prerequisitional. Plato knew this. I know this, which is why when I built all this, I was able to find the genius formula, which is, well, which is over here, which is the philosopher's point of view, the emotional discipline and logical calm, plus mathematics. You put that together and you are fucking set. Combine in there the science of comprehension, which is the financial education, self-regulation, self-management, and mental management, communication and connection, comprehension and problem solving for practical application. You study these topics and you're set. You are so fucking set. And it's an extraordinary change in the way you think. So when you look at, when you look at the way we're supposed to be learning, the way we have things set up, it's suddenly it shows how grossly incompetent we are with our comprehension of the human mind. This is the study of learning. This is precisely what the study of learning is. It is literally learning to learn. And it changes everything. So when you get into economics, when you start breaking it down, and this is one of the problems I had, was I wanted to learn economics, but every time I picked up any books on it, all I got was poor man mindset. I have this one lady, she's a millionaire and self-made millionaire, and she still thinks like a poor man. It was extraordinary. Now, and this blows my mind away. She has classes that she hosts every single month, and she's got multiple sources of income, like Warren Buffett does, like Warren Buffett recommends, but her business has not grown at all in 5 years. Not at all. She maxed out and there's no growth. It's stagnant. And I've talked to her about this. I'm like, so what are you doing to grow your business? And she's like, oh no, it's there. And she's talking about wanting to make more money, but she's doing the same thing and it's stagnant. And it's because she's poor man mindset. And she can't get out of it. She's not realizing that she's still in middle class. She's still working for her money. And I asked her, I took her on as a mentor for quite a while. About 6 months, I had her as my mentor until I realized she didn't know what she was talking about. And she couldn't articulate. She's a tradesman millionaire who still lived within the confines of not knowing how to grow her business. And I'm going, you have the money and the resources. Why aren't you expanding out? And if I had the money she had, holy shit, like I would turn that business into a billionaire within 6 months, because it's understanding how it works, how it grows, how it expands, and at what level. And instead, she was still doing the same thing 5 years ago. Nothing had changed. She was still working for her money. And I said, how do you make money? And she goes, you don't make money, you earn money. And I'm like, okay. And she explained basically that it's all about manifestation and it's the word choice. Such fucking bullshit. No, it's not. She was still poor. She was still struggling financially. I remember I had this one person I spoke to, producer of very famous musicians, and he was a millionaire. And he complained to me about how poor he is. This I learned real quickly. I ended up being friends with multiple millionaires, and they complained about their money and their hardships. My ex-husband literally was making $200,000 a year, and he was impoverished. He was living in the lap of luxury, and he was impoverished. He couldn't get out of it. It was extraordinary. And I'm like, I never understood it. I'm like, how can you be poor? And I realized it's because they had no fucking clue about their money. They had no fucking clue how to take it from where they were and elevate it. So I realized in my journey that being friends with millionaires actually means jack and shit, because a millionaire can get his millions, and what they're doing is hoarding the money. They're not actually knowledgeable about it. They're as ignorant as a poor man. I saw no difference. Are we all listening to me? I saw no difference between the millionaire and the poor man. They had the same mentality, same small mind, same mindset. So when I read in Rich Dad, Poor Dad that you've got three mindsets, you've got the poor man mindset, you've got the middle class mindset, and then you've got the entrepreneur mindset. That's absolutely, absolutely. And you're going to have people who have millions of dollars and they're still in the same mindset. They have learned how to maximize. They're sweating and they're breaking themselves to get to that point, and they're going to die young from a heart attack. And it's not smart work. It's not smart money sense. And when he laid down the entrepreneur mindset, what I did for me, well, let's finish the thought. I'm working on this. So when he laid down that mindset and showed the differences between the three mindsets, it was a significant realization and awareness of what it was that I had discovered intuitively. And this is bottom line, my takeaway from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, is he mastered to the point of articulation and conscious awareness what I intuitively have already figured out but couldn't articulate. So he's in the master level. I am in the, it's weird because I'm tradesman and master with A and B, well, with A and C, but he is a master with B. That's what this is. This is exactly what it is I am a tradesman with A and a master with C, but he is a master with B. And I was missing the piece. So, and the difference with mastery is conscious awareness. It's conscious awareness. So his conscious awareness with B immediately plugged into my tradesman with A, and I was able to take it up a notch. And it was stunning. And I realized I was toggling mastery with C, he was mastery with B, and my conscious awareness was with, this is hilarious, with mental management. And tradesman with entrepreneur and finances. And he was conscious awareness mastery with entrepreneur. That's the difference. It was extraordinary to see this. And when I realized that his mastery with B, with the entrepreneur conscious awareness, was my mental management, and here's what I realized when I read his book, was his mental management is exactly the same thing as the entrepreneurship. It is identical. It is the same thing. And I did not realize, oh, just take what you're doing with mental management and apply it to money. No idea. No idea. I did not make that connection. So when I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it literally put everything I had done with Try to Healing, and he went, okay, now just do it over here with money. And I went, yeah. So he was literally he was the connector. that took me from entrepreneur to mental management. Now I can put them together. And it was spot on. It was extraordinary. And it's a completely different mindset. So getting back to what I was saying is, what I noticed is when I realized that the mastered with the millionaires were all identical to poor men, I decided to up my game and befriend billionaires. So I did. I got into the I became friends with the founder of the Billionaires Club, and I have about five to seven really like solid people who are billionaires. And I noticed their mentality was completely different from mine, or not from mine, but from other people, from the millionaires. And this is really the category of people. This is truly it right here. There is the poor man, and this is, I do mean, we're talking about homeless people. We are talking about squalor and poverty. True squalor and poverty. And then there is the middle class, middle working class. And these are people who are barely getting by, and there is almost no difference between the poor man, homeless person, and the middle working class. Almost no difference. The next one was the millionaire and the, I'm going to say CEO. And there was also millionaire CEO, and I'm going to call Wall Street. And these people right here, these people actually were disguised as your middle working class. Absolutely disguised as your working class. And then you have your billionaires and your entrepreneurs. And this is it right here. This is what I noticed. So these are literally the four groups of people. And I grew up in the middle working class. And then this last year, I very purposely lived with poor man homeless people because I wanted to understand all of these. And I befriended the millionaire. I walked into the millionaire, and this is what I noticed, was that these people all had the same mindset. Same mindset. 100% same mindset. They were the same people. Same people. Same fucking mindset. The difference was different tiers. I'm going to say different hierarchical levels of the same mindset. But they were the same mindset. 100%. There was no difference. No difference. They all were working for their money. This group, however, this group was different. And this is actually freelance. Starving artist is here. Are you listening to me, Matt? I'm like calling him out on this one right now because this is it right here. Your freelance and your starving artists are right here, but they don't know it. They don't know it. They don't know it. Freelance starving artist has figured it out, but because they're not thinking like an entrepreneur, well, they are thinking like an entrepreneur, but they don't know it. Because these assholes over here, these assholes have told these people that they are here. Do we need to go over that again? These assholes have told these people that they are over here. When in fact, they're over here. Yep. And I know this because I used to be this. I am this. And when I started to study their mindset, this is sociology, by the way, and human behavior and ontological studies. This is my joy. I realized that these people actually did not match these people. We're going to try that again with my little drawing. These people did not match these people, which surprised me. I thought they did. I thought this was going to be a meso. I thought this was going to be an in-between ladder. Nope, it's not. These people were the same as these people. And these people are the same as these people. In some cases, these people are the same as these people and these people, but they haven't figured out that they are these people. That surprised me. And then when I realized that this mindset, which is my mindset, is the exact same mindset as this mindset, and a lot of people in this mindset, I went, what the fuck? What the fuck? Yeah, that's right. That's right. These people are assholes. And I'll tell you why. It's because these people are fucking clueless and they make the most noise and they don't shut up. And because of this, they've got everybody else jumping through hoops, making us think the world is a certain way when it's not. So the middle working class and the millionaire CEO Wall Street have the same mindset. And they basically go around telling everybody else what is, but they're wrong. They're wrong. And they're walking around with this is the way it is. This is the way the world is. This is reality. And they're wrong. They are the people who think, and this is it. I'm going to go ahead and do this. So I'm going to do this. We're going to create a new page because I really want to show you this. This is like my mind-blowing, oh my God, holy fucking shit. So we're going to show you this. So there is this model. And then there is this model. I really want to put these side by side, and I want to show you the comparison. So these are two mindsets. This is the first one. So there's the reality that we are told it is. Ooh, deja vu. I love deja vu. I'm on the right track. All right. So this is your big lesson for the day right here. This is the reality we are told it is, and this is the reality that it really is. So I'm going to now I'm going to move things around, and I'm going to show you how this works. Because this is really it. And we're going to do this dividing line. I don't want that. I didn't want that at all. All right, so this is the way it is. This is the reality we're told it is. So this is what we're told it is. Okay? This is the way it really is. And there it is. This is why you hear about billionaires who were homeless and then they're not. This is why. This is why. So this is the reality that we're told it is. This is the reality that we are told it is. But this is the way it really is. And if you are a freelance starving artist, if you have ever been homeless, if you have ever dealt with squalor poverty, you have the same mindset as a billionaire, except these people do not function in this society. We're going to call it the societal norm. The societal norm is built for these people. And if you do not fit into the societal norm of poor man mindset, then you're not going to be okay. You're not going to function. And this is it, bottom line. This is it right here. Now, what we are told is this over here. And this is the there it is. But I want to show you one more thing here. And this is really big. There it is. There's the truth. Middle class and the millionaire work so hard that they can't imagine working harder than what they work. They have bled themselves dry. And they look at billionaires going, it's not humanly possible. They must be cheating. So now you've got the middle class and the millionaire CEO mindset thinking that billionaires are just cheating the system and that's how they got rich. Because they've got this hierarchical, the laziest, the work hard, the work harder, the work hardest. These are the people who don't work at all. So these people, the middle working class and the millionaire, accuse billionaires for cheating, being unethical, and cheating. And they accuse these people for being lazy. But then you get somebody who was homeless and then they're an entrepreneur. So this is what's going on. And then these people are calling all the shots. And the mindset and the perspective and the belief we're all hearing is the bullshit from them. The BS from the poor man. Poor man BS. That's what I'm going to call it. Poor man BS. There you go. And that's it right there. Poor man BS. So we hear a lot. Our society is drowning under poor man BS. And believe me, it took so long to find Rich Dad, Poor Dad, because I was literally inundated with so much garbage from poor man BS. I said this to my dear friend yesterday. I said to her, the people who know the least about parenting, baby boomers, have the loudest and most opinions on how to raise children when they're fucking clueless. The people who have the most advice and most opinion on how to make money are the poorest. The worst parents have the most advice. The worst, poorest people have the most financial advice. Has anyone else noticed this? That is poor man BS. And we're all trying to figure out how to play the game of life. We're all trying to figure out the right way, the healthy way. I fucking hate the game of life and I hate it. I love the game of life, but I fucking hate it. I love so much about it. Yeah, I get to spin this thing and I get to go on these life journeys. I want the entrepreneur and I want the life. Are the people at Hasbro listening? Can I please, the people of Hasbro, listen to me. I want the game of life that says, don't go to college, don't get a job, become an entrepreneur. That's the one I want. I want become a freelance artist. That's the one I want. That's the game I want. So I sit down to play the game of life and I'm excited and I love the concept, but my choices are get a job, go to college. No, I want to be a fucking entrepreneur. I'm gonna be an artist, and I'm gonna go off this way, and I'm gonna be homeless, and then I'm gonna rise to the top and be awesome. That's the game of life I want. So they really need 3 and 4 pathways. That's really what they need, is they need 3 and 4. I want the people who says, I'm gonna go on a pilgrimage in life and find myself in Buddhism. I want that life path also, because you've got 4 life paths. You have the spiritual life path. You have the billionaire entrepreneur life path. You have the go to college, and then you have the get a job. And I'm going, what the fuck? Why are we looking at 2 paths? Come on, Hasbro, get your game together. So this is what I learned when I studied all the different mindsets was we're told this reality and it's a fucking bullshit lie. And then there's the reality that really is, which is the poor man, homeless person, squalor, poverty is actually divided equally on that billionaire mindset of the entrepreneur mindset. The middle class and the working class and millionaires and Wall Street CEOs, they're the same thing. They are the same thing. Small business, same thing. It was absolutely extraordinary to see the difference or the similarities in psychology, that the people here, how very similar they were. And these people have learned how to silence and shut up the noise. And that's really it. And the poor artists, the starving artists are clueless because they've been told their whole life that they're over here. And that's part of the problem. That's their mindset. They think they're over here, but they still have poor man mindset. They don't realize that they're actually over here. That when they are thinking like an entrepreneur, the perspective abuse that they get from these assholes is so severe that they are convinced that they are over here when they're not. They're over here. That's why they're not fitting in. That's why they're not making money with their art. That's why they don't know how to monetize their art, is because they're actually an entrepreneur. But they think they're squalor and poverty because they've been told you're squalor and poverty. No, they're not. They're a billionaire in the making. They got the same mindset as an entrepreneur. And it was extraordinary to see how much these people, I have one dear friend, he was homeless because he very much had this mindset. And he lived homeless for a year. And that's when I realized the majority of homeless people are actually billionaire entrepreneurs who don't realize they're billionaire entrepreneur. The majority of starving artists are billionaire entrepreneur mindset, and they don't know it because these assholes are so loud with their poor man BS. They need to shut the fuck up and sit down. And they are the loudest, the most aggressive, and they just need to shut the fuck up because they're literally compromising the rest of the journey for the rest. It's like, and this is it, is the people at Hasbro. Are you listening, Hasbro? The people who created the game of life listened to these assholes. Well, you got to go to college or you got to get a job. No. These are the options. You can be an entrepreneur. You can be in the system. You're in that societal norm or you're not. And if you're not in the societal norm, and this is really it, if you are not in the societal norm, the game is different over here. The game is very different over here. And I'm reading all the resources. I'm looking through all of the different mindsets. I have come a long fucking way. And I'm looking at this going, yeah, people have no idea that there's the alternative route, the societal norm mindset, and then there's the other side. And the other side is that entrepreneur mindset. And there's a lot of people, and I'm really looking at these people right here. They really don't understand that they are 100% billionaire entrepreneur mindset, but because they don't know. So my goal is to just break the formula, write it down, and then teach it in mastery to other people. That is my goal, is to It's that you got to figure it out for yourself. Figuring it out for yourself is not, yes, you got to figure it out for yourself. It's called trial and error until you figure it out, and then you just teach it to others. And you have to have a significant mastery in education comprehension in order to understand what is the process. So whenever you hear someone say, you just got to figure it out for yourself, it means I don't know what it is I'm doing because I'm a tradesman and I'm just following my gut instinct. And it's the compounded effort of articulating all of the pieces with that philosopher's point of view, where you can articulate all the pieces, show people the big picture, and then teach them and say, look, there's two mindsets here. And the biggest obstacle is going to be emotional discipline and changing your mindset. Once you get those two things down, you're set. Now, there are some people who naturally are born into the entrepreneur mindset, but they don't know it. So it's really if this is you, then the societal norm is not going to work for you. So there's a lot of, and here's the other thing. This is another spot. Middle working class, poor man BS loves their labels and name calling. They really love name calling. So this is where we hear the delinquents, the societal delinquents. This is where we hear a delinquent is really, yeah, delinquents. This is where we hear a lot of this word. Is if you are a societal delinquent, what does the word even mean? Let's look up how offensive this word is. The only place I know of it is West Side Story, Officer Krupke. That's the only place I know of the delinquents. And I'm going, what the fuck does this word mean anyway? It's an ugly word. A delinquent, showing or characterized by tendency to commit crime, particularly minor crime, offending, errant, bad behavior, offender, a wrongdoer. All right. So I was under the impression the word meant something entirely different, which is basically dropout, loser of life. But yeah, there you go, is a delinquent. And this is it, is I grew up in a society, compliments of white supremacy and that middle working class, closed-minded poor man BS, that any youth who did not work hard was a delinquent. And I was a starving artist. I was an entrepreneur. So for me, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go be an entrepreneur. And my father labeled me as a delinquent and as a hippie. That's the other one that they put into this category. And it's not. Hippies are actually the billionaire entrepreneur mindset. So because you have people who are absolutely born right into this entrepreneur mindset and they don't know it, it's literally that ignorance, that lack of education, lack of knowing that puts people in that position where it's like, I don't know who I am. I don't know what's wrong with me, et cetera, so forth. So it's really interesting to see how this change your fucking mindset, change it. Look at reality. I feel like Don Quixote, look into the mirror of reality. This is what it really is. And wrap your head around these concepts. So I'm going to be going through economy. And as I go through economy, and I've already started this where they'll say something and I'll go like, oh, well, that is so poor man. This is what I'm doing. I'm taking poor man economics and I'm churning it into rich man economics. I'm turning it into entrepreneur mindset. So I'm on a website where I'm getting free education. It's a full academic course on all of economics. And right away, I saw things in their economical comprehension that made me immediately go, okay, you are teaching poor man mindset to me. And right away, it was the definition of resources. Holy fucking shit. The definition of a resource. He was explaining that love is a resource. And I went, oh, no, it's not. Poor man mindset. Love is not a resource. And another point, he said labor is a resource. No, it's not. No, labor is not a resource. Time is a resource. So right away, I went, and this is how they're teaching economics. That's poor man economics. That's poor man mindset. And if you've studied economics, if you've stepped into it, it's, all right, did you study poor man mindset economics or rich man mindset economics? Because they're two different completely things. And one of the things that Rich Dad, Poor Dad said in the very beginning of the book was, poor people don't know what an asset is. Poor people don't know what an asset is. And he said, when you study economics, they'll teach you that it's this, but it's not. People don't know what assets are. Rich people do. Rich people know what an asset is. Well, I'm sitting here now in my first lesson on this, and they're talking about resources, and I'm going, that's not a resource. That is not a resource. If you think labor is a resource, well, that's why you're poor. Labor is not a resource. So it's a massive, like, wow, interesting. Freedom, are we all listening? Freedom is not a resource. And this is really like, it's going to fuck up the way you live. It's going to fuck up your mindset. It's going to fuck up everything that you think about economy, getting a job, life, because the words are defined by the poor man. And it's wrong. No wonder why people go into business school and then they walk out and they're poor. Think about it. You take economics. You walk away with a master's in economics, and then you're poor. Why do you think that is? Because they have used economics to teach you poor man mindset. It doesn't do you any good if you have learned accounting, economics, financing with a poor man mindset. You've got to learn it with rich man mindset. And right now, based off of all the books I've been reading and all the stuff that I've been pouring into me, I'm going, whoa, this is poor man contaminated. And I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand it. So I did this course. I'm like, oh no, we're going to do a course on this, because the economics course that's out there is absolutely laden with poor man mindset economics. So you're going to walk away from an economics course thinking like a poor man, making choices like a poor man. And they're right. You need to study economics. But we're back to you guys don't know how to talk, or you guys don't know how to teach, you guys as in economic teachers who have a poor man mindset. If you have a poor man mind teaching you economics, if you have a poor man mindset creating an economics course, their mindset's going to be embedded right into it. Here's another one that I can't stand. Are you ready for this one? Teachers don't care about money. Teachers are poor. Tony Robbins is a teacher. Last I saw, he was a billionaire and he was a teacher. Poor man mindset, rich man mindset. I'm a teacher. Big, big difference. I went, yeah, I'm not going to teach in the school because that's slave obedience training. That's not education. No, I'm going to go be an entrepreneur and apply my entrepreneur brain with my philosopher formula and my genius formula to teaching. And I'm still going to teach. We're going to do it my way. Big, big, big difference. Big difference. So the concept of, oh, teachers have to be poor. That's more poor man BS. Like I really need, I need like a big overall summation of the word, because it's X person's bullshit. I could almost call it baby boomer bullshit. Oh, that sounds really catchy. Oh, that's way too catchy. It's almost as if it were meant to be. It's so catchy that it felt natural. Baby boomer bullshit. Oh, wow, that's so catchy. But you know what? I think it's so accurate. It's baby boomer bullshit. Oh, God, that's so catchy. And the reason why is because if we don't start categorizing it, and I'm going to say it, if we don't start labeling it and putting a big red, don't use this, that's baby boomer bullshit. Oh, we're going to say this so much. Immediately you can go, oh, I need to relabel that in my brain. Oh, that's baby boomer bullshit. Yeah, that needs to go over there. That's why you categorize shit. That's why you label shit. It's called compartmentalizing. And when mathematicians use it strategically, you get shit done. That's how you do it. Baby boomer bullshit. Baby boomer bullshit. It's fourth perspective. It is common perspective. It's the American dream bullshit. It's baby boomer bullshit. Oh, God, this is so fucking catchy. That's it. And it's this poor man mindset. Baby boomer bullshit. I know nothing about parenting, but I'm going to tell you about parenting. Baby boomer bullshit. I'm a poor man, but I'm going to tell you how to be rich. Baby boomer bullshit. That's it. I totally fucked you up with neglect and trauma and narcissism. Now I'm going to tell you how to parent. Baby boomer bullshit. I totally crashed the economy 3 times, and the majority of my people are impoverished and have racked up the national debt, so I'm qualified to teach you about economics. Baby boomer bullshit. And the millennials, I love millennials, have figured it out. They're going, these people don't know what they're talking about. No, they don't. No, they really don't. And Gen X's are going, yeah, we know. They fucked us up. Yeah, we know. And now Generation X's are trying to condition all that baby boomer bullshit out of them. And millennials are going, yeah, we're not going to do what you're doing. Thank you, but no thanks. And baby boomers are sitting there going, everyone's doing it wrong. Baby boomer bullshit. Everyone has been doing it the way you've been saying it should be done, and you done fucked up parenting, education, and the economy. Baby boomer bullshit. Oh yes, we're totally doing this. So yeah, when you start to identify baby boomer bullshit, you can start weeding it out of your culture. You can start weeding it out of your brain. You can catch yourself and go, oh my God, that's baby boomer bullshit. Gas. Oh, I'm not doing that. No. That's going to be red listed. That's red labeled now. Baby boomer bullshit. Red label that shit. Throw it out. Now I can look at everything my father ever tried to advise me on finances and life and marriage. And I can go, oh no, that's baby boomer bullshit. That's what that is. No wonder why I was fucked up and had multiple personality disorder, because of baby boomer bullshit. I feel better. I feel validated. I feel good. Use these words if you need them. Take them, run, make them yours. Yes. Oh, I feel free. You know what baby boomer bullshit is? It's when you take your rarest resource, time, and you sell it for bottom dollar below the living wage. That's baby boomer bullshit. I feel better. I feel good. Thank you. Welcome to Honest Economics. Okay, I feel better. Thank you. And may the kindest of words always find you.